on the podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. It's Grant's Rants Small Talk.
Let the rundown begin. I'm ready to get into this episode with my lovely co-host, Alli Cohen. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me again.
I'm excited to do this. You know, there's so much crap going on in the world. It's such like, depending on the hour, who knows? This show is such a good escape. I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking about Girls Trip. This Girls Trip, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, no, society is crumbling around us, and it's something to hold on to. It's a branch to grasp onto.
As the world burns, that's what I say. Yeah,
yeah. As our rights are being taken away day by day. But okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, Dazed and Excused, season 2, episode 3. Yes, I'm gonna stick my head in the sand for the next 40 or so minutes.
Do it,
because we all need a break, and that's what these shows are for. And I learned that a lot of folks who were like doctors and nurses during the pandemic, just to kind of like balance out a lot of the really heavy stuff, got really into Housewives. So the Housewives are medicine for people.
Yes, they're palliative, I think. Yeah, they definitely are something to forget about your own problems, and you go into this petty place that these women are in, and it somehow feels better. You just escape.
That's how I feel about this show. That's how I feel about the soap operas. I just need like a constant like escape, like just something that's chill. So let's start off. The show opens, there's something very loud. It's echoing throughout the house. It's Jill, and then there's a fire alarm.
No, I was gonna say, is it Jill? Yeah, it starts with a fire alarm, which I think is kind of an indication for how the rest of the episode goes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Jill very entertained by this, of course. Poor Marco, again, this party manager. I don't know what his title is, party planner. He says this is a very low-key day, but there are 6 things on the itinerary. That's a lot. For vacation, that's a lot.
And Dorinda is such a taskmaster. She never makes things chill and relaxed. So no. I knew as soon as I saw the list that they put up on the screen, this is not going to be a chill day.
No, she is so obnoxious in this entire episode, just to set the tone. Like, Dorinda is really irritating in this episode. I will get into all the moments, but I'm just saying, if you were annoyed by her, you are not alone.
No. Many times wrote in my notes, like, why is she being like this? Just stop it. Stop it, Dorinda.
Please stop. And then at this point in the episode, Tamara is like, it's the beginning of a new day. Let's have fun. And cut to Vicki. I'm really congested. Vicki, once again, not meeting the moment.
And I was thinking, Tamara is so much cooler. I'm thinking this at the beginning of the episode, and it comes around later again. Tamara's so much cooler when Vicki's not there. Do I want Vicki not there? I don't know.
I love Vicki for stupid reasons. I know it's so controversial. Yeah, no, but I mean, we'll get into that. I agree. I like Tamara, and I'm waiting for someone to pop off with her. But so far she's been on her best behavior, I think. We go on a shopping trip in Great Barrington, and even Vicki thinks it's cute there. That was like surprising.
Yeah, even she had something good to say about it. Yeah, Great Barrington looks gorgeous. I've never been there. I know people who used to summer there, but I would love to go, and especially after this.
Yeah, there's a crystal store there. I like those. I always bring this one in here in New York when people visit. I love to bring them there. I thought it was cool. Vicki wants a crystal ball. Sure. Brandy and Eva are into it. What do you think of Phaedra's yoni egg story?
Oh, that was the bright spot in this episode for me. That I liked. She said it worked because she met a man, went on 3 dates with him, and then it ended because she found out he was worshiping Satan. And that just,
her delivery of that story. I love it. If you notice, she laughs at all of her like one-liners, which I love.
She does, because she knows she's funny, and she knows we're gonna laugh with her.
It's so natural. I
Mhm.
just, whenever she comes up and it's an interview talking head, I'm like, oh, what's this one gonna be? I love it. And I used to feel that way about Dorinda, but then Dorinda tried to like merchandise her, like,
Everything.
yeah. And now it's just like everything's a t-shirt. So it's too much.
And we saw it so many times because, and the question was answered. She did put the not well bitch sweatshirts in the welcome kits because
Ugh,
everyone was wearing them.
cringe.
Ugh.
I would be embarrassed. I would be, if I were to do that, I'd say, all right, we're gonna get custom t-shirts for everyone. Like Vicki, I don't want to get old. Tamara, that's my opinion. Like I would make them custom to the guest. Not here,
Yes.
wear my quote that I want to make money off of. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. But I have a question with regards to crystals. Are you into crystals?
I have a few actually
You
around.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know much about them. So it was I
I'm very new at it. I
okay.
mean, my sister's really into it. I know they do charge with the full moon. They're
Right.
you know, they have qualities to them. You can spend a lot of money on these things, you know.
No, yeah. So that's my thing. I'm like, aren't they rocks? But I guess so are diamonds. So I don't know how I feel about them. But if they, hey, anything to make me feel better, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of into it. I approve of the idea. I think, you know, if it helps you, great. So
Sure.
I'm
Oh,
all for
anything
it.
like that.
Yeah. Now Dorinda leaves there to go to the liquor store. Very
Mhm.
appropriate. Where
Yep.
else do we find her? And she's there. And what do I have? She's talking with Tamara. Tamara's not happy that Dorinda defended Brandy the night before. This is a classic, like, producer, like, what did you guys talk about last night? Can you guys just well, how did you feel about it, Tamara? Were you happy with Dorinda's behavior? Like, it
Right.
just seems like one of those one-offs, like we need to talk about last night.
Yeah. And then Dorinda went on to say, well, Brandy's weak, which I
And
found
Brandy,
very
yeah, and that Vicky wants to attack her.
and Vicky's stronger. Now,
Yeah.
Vicky to me is rotten to the core. I know you like her, but she is just so she's such a bummer and she's so serious about things that don't matter and she cares about things that don't seem to matter. And I know she's going through a breakup and I do feel bad about that, but I need her to be up. I need her to whoop it up.
Yes, I agree. And if you don't like Vicky, you don't have to on the show either. By the way, I love
Oh,
a good
I
like
I will not
so
pretend.
perfect. No, I don't mind that at all. That's the whole idea. For me, you know, I don't know what I see in Vicky. I guess she reminds me of certain family members, but there's just I just find something interesting
You
about her.
have a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I think I miss her on the show because the
I
show,
get
the
it.
OC Housewives, is just in such bad shape, and
Right.
maybe that's what it is. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. Now, Tamara says in her interview that she thinks it's more Dorinda's style to attack people than it is Vicky's. But you know, she doesn't say it to Dorinda. It's like it's a cheap shot if you're not going to say it. And you know, who does a lot of cheap shots in this episode too is Jill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jill was quiet as a mouse during activities and then saying a whole bunch of stuff in her interviews.
Yeah, yeah, that's an old trope. I'm not surprised.
No,
What did you think of this dispensary? Eva was so excited. This had to be the highlight for her.
I liked Eva's joy. I thought that was really fun. I couldn't wait for them. I was hoping they would all get super high. I just thought that would be really fun and funny. And I don't believe that Brandy has never bought drugs. I just don't believe it. She says that people just
Yes.
give them to her. Okay.
Yeah. I like that there was like, I think it was a shot, a close up on Jill's hands when she was saying like, I don't get into this. I don't do this. I don't have any interest in this. And it was like, she was like wringing her hands in the corner. Like, I just thought that was like a funny cutaway. I noticed all these little things.
They really showed their generation. I'm not going to say age
Yeah.
because they don't listen. Age ain't nothing but a number, but generationally, weed is still so looked down upon. And the ones who are like, I just don't do it. I'm just not into it. It makes me hungry. You're just showing you're from a different generation. That's okay. But maybe give it a try because I think some of these ladies could use a toke.
Yeah. One could be Vicky back at Bluestone Manor. She's not
Mhm.
feeling well. Dorinda says Vicky's energy is never great. You touched on that earlier. I mean, on this trip, it certainly isn't
Especially.
great.
And if
Yeah.
she's sick, listen, if she's sick, I understand that her energy is low. But the flashbacks to her always being sick and hurt. and her screaming in the ambulance when she hurt her foot, that just encapsulates who she is.
Yes.
She's always screaming, and she always does the absolute most.
Why did they not show the shot of her going down with the towel over her head in
that was surprising.
Iceland? Like, yeah, well, that was like a classic shot.
Maybe we've seen it too many times.
Maybe all like the people. I'm still playing with this stress ball, by the way, for those who are watching. I can't help it.
This is stressful. Vicki's sick again.
What else is happening here? Jill has to get involved. She tells Dorinda to give Vicki a break, but Dorinda doesn't give a you-know-what. She's like, all right, I want you all to be very aggressive. This is very serious. And I want everybody out there doing this field day event. I don't care about any of you. If you're bleeding from the armpits, you're going out to do it. And then Vicki goes and leaves to the urgent care. She doesn't care about anything other than her own plans.
And just, you know what? I think she should just relax a little bit. And I think, you know what she should do? She should just, if she doesn't feel well, because you know what, then her energy will be up. And so we want her energy to be up. It's like Dorinda doesn't want anyone else to take away her attention. So she's let it go, Jill, let it go. It was too much.
Yeah. Too much. Before we get started with this whole business of the field day, there were a few moments I noticed they caught on camera, which I appreciated. There was Jill and Phaedra bonding over their boobs. That was a unique pairing, to say the least.
To say that, no pun intended.
Yeah. Tamara and Taylor in the pool. That was later in the episode where like there's like a rock, a loose rock or a loose piece of stone. And she's like, oh, she's got some work to do around here. And she said she's going to rip it all out.
Oh, don't worry. They're ripping it out.
Yeah.
That
was interesting. That was an interesting. I just like the little bits of life. You know, I do feel like I am a fly on the wall in the show, which I appreciate. So I actually kind of like those little moments here and there. But we talked about Vicki going to urgent care. Jill tells Vicki she doesn't look good like 9 times. Yeah. And then Jill is GZTV. We haven't talked about this yet. Jill Zarin.
That's because I don't care for it. It's so weird. I understand the editors are always trying to have fun and it's very cute. She really does. She is a label. You know what? She really cares. She's like, oh my God, those socks, are they from J. Crew? I love them. I'm going to get them. Oh, did you know I used to work for this? Blah, 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 blah. She can't stop talking about labels. I don't.
Yes. Care. Which I feel like I know a lot of people like that. So I'm not surprised. That's also of that generation, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
All the accomplishments and the connections and all this. I mean, it's very obnoxious, but don't get me wrong. But yeah, no, I wonder, I wanted to ask, was this show, and you don't know, none of us know, was this show edited on Final Cut Pro? Because there is the graphics, the time code they use. I use Final Cut Pro, but I'm also not, I don't have a show on Peacock, but maybe that's, that's Peacock.
Hey, I don't know.
That's where the bar is set for Peacock. I don't know.
Ooh, throwing stones. There was something that I did notice that I wanted to bring up because the only time that it made any sense was at 4:20. So they kept showing timestamps. Did you notice this?
Yes, in the top left, right?
Yeah, and it just kind of it was like
show
us the time. Yeah, and it was like, all right, like you're making me kind of want to get to the next thing. But then I realized they put 4:20 on, and then that's when Eva was smoking weed. I'm not sure if they were doing it just to get there, but I wrote down, why do they keep showing us time codes?
Yeah, that's odd. I like, though, that they do track like Jill talking to herself.
That was great.
Again, that I'm into. Yeah. What else happened over here? We hear about Jill and Alli's sweatsuit, the Jill Zarin rugs, the E.G. Smith socks. And then Dorinda is on one with this field day situation. Housewives themed relay games. Would you be bothered with this?
Yes. And let me tell you why. It's similar to a sound bath. I don't like to watch it. I didn't like field day in school. I didn't like participating. I don't like watching it. I didn't like Wild and Crazy Kids, which I don't know if you know what that is. It was a show on Nickelodeon. It was a field day show. Like, I don't want to watch those activities. It's not for me. And the only time I was having a good time was when Brandy, who was high as heck, was like having such a hard time getting through it and still doing better for some reason than Tamra. True. What did you think? Did you like it?
Not really. It
Not
was
really.
It like I watch like Big Brother occasionally when I have patience. It's such a stale show, but at least with that show, I feel like I can track like the competitions, the game, like how the players are doing. With this, it's just they cut to so many things. I don't know who was first, last, who was waiting to find an apple, who was Jill fell into a box at one point and couldn't get out. I mean, like I don't really know what was going on. I didn't get much out of it.
No. And it's just also, I didn't enjoy Dorinda's leadership. Like I didn't like
obnoxious.
That. It was so obnoxious. And I don't know. I wouldn't enjoy being on vacation with her if she's in charge.
The one that I appreciated was that we weren't watching people eat again. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like, now they're drinking, now they're eating, now they're having dessert, like another meal. At least this was something like visually different.
Yes, that's true. And it's fun when they go to restaurants because you get to hear what they order. And sometimes you see the other patrons and they're, interacting in a different way. But here we're just being served food. We don't even know what they're eating.
Yeah.
I need the entire experience,
Yes, I agree. Let's talk about this with Brandy. She says that Tamra's much better without Vicki, much more fun, kinder, outgoing. You seem to agree with this earlier.
I do tend to agree with that.
Yeah. Tamra says she's heard this before. I think they've talked about this on the show.
I'm
too.
Sure.
Yeah. Vicki returns with a sinus infection. And, Tamra runs to tell Vicki, Brandy said that I'm more fun without you.
Of course, she ran right away. And
she's
like, if she thinks that, it's like she was so appalled by it, but also kind of let it go very quickly because she's like, yeah, I think she might agree with it.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Medic Monica is an angel. The medic who took care of Vicki. She really cares. And I like her.
She had the patience for all of it. I wouldn't. I'm not that guy. That's just not me. I couldn't do that kind of work.
Yeah.
She even offered to give Vicki a personality.
Isn't that nice?
Very. So Eva and Brandy, at this point in the episode, Eva's husband calls on FaceTime. Phaedra enters. We establish the cookout crew. Phaedra, Brandy, and Eva. Things are good.
I want to be part of the cookout crew. I want to be part of those cool kids.
Every time Phaedra explains something, she's got a big smile on her face. She loves it. I'm all for. I'm like, I want to hear more and more about what
she's having fun.
Yes. And then this dinner starts. Jill has to come down, name drop. She's wearing the J. Crew pajamas. Very good, cool. Jill. Very good. Brandy tells Vicki that she's very reactionary. This is in the kitchen. Vicki tells Brandy that she's not allowed to tell her to shut the F up anymore.
Right.
But Brandy can't promise this, but she said she will try her best. And everyone like erupts into applause because Brandy accepted that she's going to try with Vicki.
I will say with Vicki, I respected her for saying to her, you cannot speak to me like that. I think I have said those sorts of things when I feel disrespected. And I think she said it in a very calm way. She needs to understand it's not going to happen, but I'm glad that she spoke up for herself.
Yeah, I think it's like, at least you can say, hey, I said it. I don't know what Vicki expects to get out of this, but there was a lasagna competition throughout this episode. I can't say I was very interested in this. Brandy and Dorinda. I don't know. It's like on one hand, it's like, okay, it's a very Housewives thing, like Housewives proper. Like, if you think of like what a housewife is known for, I guess. So like, okay, like who knew Brandy could cook? I didn't know she could boil water. So, okay, she felt confident enough to do it. Good for her. But Dorinda, though, is so obnoxious with this whole thing. And Brandy is very insecure about her as they sit down at the table. Dorinda is literally patting herself on the back on camera.
She did it on camera. Yep. I did very well.
That's a lasagna, Dorinda Medley. Yeah. Okay.
It was fun though when Brandy was cooking hers and Marco Marco really pulled his weight this episode. He did it in Field Day where he was trying to explain everything. Dorinda was pissed. He was stealing her spotlight. And then in the kitchen, he's like, no, I promise. Dorinda actually cooked herself, even though she has 2 chefs and Len. And we didn't steal your stuff. There was plenty. And Brandy's like, you stole my ingredients.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that, but
I don't know. But there was a lot put in this lasagna on Brandy's side. Did you know that if there's going to be a mystery ingredient, the white lady is going to put it in? Everybody knows.
I know it now. And
according to Phaedra,
I don't disagree. With it because she's right. And I love her. And everything she has said thus far has been funny.
I love this moment because you could tell she was waiting for an everybody knows.
Yeah.
And a classic Phaedra moment. It checked that box for me where I was like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Brandy cooking the meat made me nervous.
Well, yeah, when it wasn't on the floor.
Right.
Then,
when it wasn't. Oof.
Yeah. And then Dorinda putting her hands in it, fingers in it. That would be, I couldn't.
And licking her fingers and then touching the food. I think I might have said something. I might have been like, we're still in a pandemic.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm going to get the corner on the polar opposite side of where your finger is. Like, I don't want that piece. Yeah, exactly. I don't need that piece. That's not great. Someone is supposed to be such a great host who makes it nice. Don't make it
so
touchy.
Gross.
Yeah.
And then Dorinda said about her own lasagna, it was like a Da Vinci, and then Brandy's was a Basquiat, which is like, first of all, a very weird thing to say, elitist. And she said it was soupy. She should have said it was a Warhol. She missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
Basquiat, that's like, wow, how dare, and messy, that's a style, ma'am. That's not, how dare you?
Yeah. She got, unlike Jill, she got touchy both in her interviews and then at the table. She needled Brandy about the whole thing. She really wore Brandy down. Dorinda's way too competitive for this stuff. She went on and on talking about, what was there, Tabasco sauce in there? Where's the Cool Whip? You put lemon juice in that? Celery, sugar. Oh, she went on and on. Jill wanted to be involved in it too. She wanted to, but she credited them both. But then at the end, she didn't.
But I make a better.
Yeah.
And look, did I think putting lemon juice in as an acid when you literally have tomatoes is a good idea? I don't think so, but I'm not a good cook, but
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to make fun of someone who's feeding me.
This to me was like the peak of Dorinda's just obnoxious attitude. It reminded me of like when she went up to Luann and was like, at least I didn't go to jail for it. You know what I mean? It was like one of those type. She wasn't quite on that level of like 10 out of 11, but like she was quickly getting there. And it was just like, even Brandy was like, okay, I think Dorinda's is better than mine. Like it's more tasty. Like she wore Brandy down by just being an obnoxious bitch. I mean, it was bitchy of her.
There's a real cruelty to Dorinda sometimes. And she acts like she, again, is the lady of the manor. She acts like she is, super conscientious, but she can be very, very cruel.
Yeah.
I don't care for it.
Yeah, we watched her be very cruel opposite Tinsley. I mean, any chance she got, she was in that girl's face.
And Tinsley did nothing. Tinsley didn't do anything to her. It was, she decided she didn't like her. When Dorinda makes a decision, like this is how things are going to go, if they don't go her way, she spirals. And that's a dangerous personality trait, I think, because it means you're controlling essentially. And I think this is where we were talking about home court advantage last time. This is where she has home court advantage because now she can say, I'm in charge. This is my home. And that's where things can get a little messy.
Well, yeah. I mean, we see it here with this penis game that Brandy wants to play. Even though Dorinda's very into it, only a few minutes later, she hated it, despite cut to her enjoying it. Then they play this confessions game. This reminded me of what we were talking about last time. Here we go. The questions at the dinner table. What are your insecurities? I was like, what are these questions and these confessions going to be?
that was just such a bad idea. The confessions game, it just
So
sucked.
bad.
It just, I feel like there are a lot of fun card games to play to like get to know you, like, how well do you know each other? But this is like, what disappoints you about your father?
What is that question? I can't even like think of that. Like, what?
We're supposed to be having a fun PJ party.
Yeah, that is such a stupid question on top of it. But Brandi tries to cover for Jill, telling her national television, but Dorinda can't help but needle her back and saying, we've all done this before. We all know how it is. The know-it-all of the group. But even Jill recognized that Brandi was looking out for her.
Right.
I give her credit. That's something to be admired versus like Dorinda, who wants everyone just to like fall on their face at the namesake of the game.
Right. So. And then Phaedra saves it a little bit by saying that if she had more support, she could have been a professional cheerleader, which I believed it. She could do anything she wants. We've established this. She has so many job titles. I think she
not the answer I expected. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I never saw that coming, but I also don't know her history. And she might have been a very good cheerleader had she had more support, but she became a lawyer.
And a mortician. Yeah, and several other things.
She Donkey Booty
Dubai
creator.
The video, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else happens here? Dorinda storms out at this point, and they cut to Vicki, and Vicki's mouth is like wide open. She's shocked that Dorinda leaves the room. She did this like I think the night before. Leaves the room, pours herself a drink, comes back. Like it's like she like what is that's a weird trait. That's odd behavior. There's a lot of drinking happening.
Well, yeah. You sound a little surprised, but this is Dorinda. It almost seems like she has, it's like what am I trying to say? A security blanket is her martini. And that's not great. Yeah. I mean, look, do I like a drink occasionally to settle my stress? Sure, but that just seems insane almost to leave a room, get a drink, come back like nothing happened.
Yeah, she then goes in when Brandi says, that question, Jill, that could have been maybe like a setup. So I was just looking out for you. And Dorinda then fires back. And she's like, maybe for you, because I don't live my life like that, as if to say, like, that's something you would do, Brandi. You would set Jill up. And it was like, ooh, she really was pushing people around in this moment.
She was being very mean.
I wrote here, Dorinda just straight up lost control of the game and got mad at Brandi, despite them being close and all this good stuff she set up Brandi, defending her the night before. This was Dorinda's moment to show out, and it wasn't a good look for her.
Her loyalty lies with no one at the end of the day.
Yeah, she knows she's filming a show, and that's what it's all about.
Hyper aware of filming a show, and it comes across. We can really tell, and we don't want that. The fourth wall. We understand that it's allowed to be broken now. Like we've gotten to that point, but we also want to be just ensconced in this world. We don't want to be like we're on a reality show, you guys. Like, shut up, bravo, effing bravo.
Right. This game Confessions, I don't know. What is this? Parker Brothers?
Right. Where did this come?
What is this horrible game? Yeah, I don't get this game. Is this some type of like, does Angie Cohen have a friend somewhere that was like, please get this game on my show?
Oh, I don't.
On the show, because the questions are ridiculous. Eva's card is, what about your partner? No, what about you? Does your partner not understand?
And this led.
Yeah. This led to Brandi screaming, period. Actually, this is where we started. And then only went down from there. Basically calling Eva's husband a mangina.
So classy.
So classy. Eva is pissed, but she didn't lose her cool.
She's cool.
Yep. She just is like, that's what Brandi's done a million times on this trip. I'm not going to take the bait. And she knew to remove herself from the situation. I give her credit.
And she knows that, as we said last time, Brandi is a fool. She's a fool. she says these stupid things that I wonder if it's for the show where she's like set it up in her head beforehand to be like, I'm going to call him a mangina, which no one knows what that means. And also I found it as a feminist insulting that she was like, he's like, doesn't have a penis, he has a vagina. It's like, okay, and ma'am, like what? What does that mean?
That's a good point though. Is she saying this stuff as shock value? Is she saying is she's drunk? I don't think she's that calculated where she's thinking of these things. For me personally, I think she's just pulling this stuff out of her butt and you know, they come to it, there's shock value to it. That's what she's known for. I don't know if it's like premeditated, but I think it comes to her and she's like, I'm going to go with that.
Okay. No, I agree with that. Yeah. I do. Now that I think about it. Yeah, she's not premeditated. She can't.
I gave this a lot of thought and I was like, what was she trying to say here? And this is such an old world's way of putting it. But I think what she meant was like, she thought Eva ran things at home. Like Eva was the one that wore the pants.
That's what I got
in the relationship. And she clearly did not communicate that correctly. And she had nobody there to back her up to try to like explain what that meant. But also that, like, if you look up mangina, that doesn't mean who wears the pants. I mean, no one's familiar with this. So, you know, she gets what she gets, but she really cleared the room on that one. Everybody scattered.
It's also just, again, generationally, like very old thinking in terms of gender norms. And also like if who wears the pants, it's like, doesn't mean anything anymore. She just is making herself sound stupid.
Yeah, she really made herself sound ignorant and stupid. And I'm sure we'll get some wishy-washy apology. Like, no, I'm saying like, what I'm saying is I'm actually meaning like, you're like, you know, your husband's like a really involved dad. That's a good thing. Like, it'll be some weird, like, all right, Brandy. Okay.
And she's so good at apologizing. Even she had that moment with Vicki where she's like, I just think you're a legend and an icon. It's like, you do? We didn't get that originally, but she doesn't want anyone to be mad at her. And I understand that, but stop saying dumb things. And
yeah. Well, after the dust settles on that, Vicki almost dies upstairs. And that's the end of the episode.
It ends with a Heimlich. It starts with a fire alarm and ends with the Heimlich.
You know, I have tremendous trouble taking pills. I cannot sleep. It's very frightening. I get it. Especially I live alone. It's very frightening.
Oh, when I lived alone, I thought about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot. But I mean, like, I love that Vicki is still like such a problem. Like literally, like she's like near death at the end of the episode.
The thing is, she was able to say the words Heimlich, like the international sign of choking will do. That's the reason that you have that is so that you don't have to say anything because you can't breathe. So how much was she choking versus how much did she just get startled? You know, how like a baby falls and they start crying, even though they didn't hurt themselves, they just got scared. I think that's what happened there. And that's okay too. It's a real feeling. Me too. Yeah.
Let's get into our final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Okay.
Anything good?
Not really, unfortunately. I wrote, it was a bummer of an episode. Dorinda's an absolute jerk. What is Brandy doing? She's a fool. And where was Taylor? Like, she was there, but she wasn't present.
See, I laughed in this episode. It made me laugh. Yeah, I did. Not for the whole thing. Like, again, like the relay race thing, I could have lived without that. I don't know. I get a lot of the little moments. I get a lot out of that more than like the big sit downs. Like, too much lasagna talk. I didn't need all that. We didn't need like 4 segments on that. And
I think competitions in general for me, unless the show is about competition, I don't care for it. It's not, what we're here for is the screaming and the pettiness. I don't need to see someone like shoot a bow and arrow on my show.
Well, one thing I noticed on this episode was that Brandy carried around a blue plastic wine glass the entire time. And we occasionally saw her fill it up. Remember, she said, I don't have a drinking problem. I have a drinking solution.
I liked that.
But she carried this around like a child with like a teddy bear. I mean, this was like in her hands the entire time. How much alcohol is being consumed in this house?
A lot.
Can you imagine the production budget on alcohol? Like, where do you even begin? Like, they must have a
tens of thousands.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh, there was something I really did like. And it was Phaedra, of course. And she said the only competition she had in the relay race was Taylor's camel toe.
That was great. That was another good one.
Love her. Okay, what did you think? So you liked it.
I did. I need an escape. These shows are long. That's kind of my takeaway. But I do feel like when they end, I feel like I spent a day with these women. I'm like, okay, we saw them get up, we saw them do 6 things on an itinerary, and I like that. For me, they didn't have a blow up, and even Eva pointed that out until the last scene at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. And I was like, isn't that great? Like, show that to Bravo. These shows can be entertaining, and they don't need to be at each other's throat, trying to destroy each other's families, trying to wreck each other. We don't need to have people throwing glasses at each other. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a good one. Okay. That was me, though. Yeah.
There were moments where I had fun. Maybe it says something about me that I do need these blow-ups. I don't know.
Maybe you want more drama. You want more of that.
I need more of that, but I also just need more of they're living their really crazy lives. I want to see more of Bluestone Manor. Why isn't that part of it? Like going through the entire house and just looking at every room. I would love a Architectural Digest style interview. That's what I want from Bluestone Manor.
Really? Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be fun. But I'm gonna obviously keep watching, and I have hope for the coming episodes.
Well, that's good, because I want to keep doing this podcast.
And we will, and I'm going to keep having some hot takes.
Sounds good. I like it. I like that this episode, I feel like you and I, we got to kind of debate a little bit, which I love. That's the whole point. I mean,
sure.
How boring would it be if we felt the same way?
Just agreed. Yep. No.
Ugh, not on this show. All right, guys, that'll do it for this rundown of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. We'll be back with more episodes and more rundowns right here on the podcast. My thanks to Alli Cohen.
Thank you. Bye.
This has been Grant's Rants Small Talk. Want more? Join the full conversation on Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk podcast.